We shall not cease from exploration. And the end of all our exploring will be to arrive where we started and know the place for the first time. Through the unknown remembered gate, when the last of earth left to discover is that which was the beginning.
Jobbins, how's it going?
So far, so good.
Good. Well, thanks for coming on today. We met a couple months ago now at this point, and I was really interested to get you on to talk. I think the first time that we met, I was like, hey, do you want to come on this podcast?
Yeah, and life just kept getting in the way.
Yeah.
Like, it basically took us to get into the new year to get us here. So.
Yeah, and you're actually the first person of 2026 who I've interviewed.
Awesome.
So,
all right.
Yeah.
Time to ruin everything.
Yeah, I always do every 2 weeks, and then just because of circumstance and the new year, I just decided to give it maybe like around a month before I started. So.
Okay.
So just to start off, what is it with the Johnstown area that really attracts you to the place?
Lower cost of living.
That's the 10 out of 10 people who live here will tell you that.
Yeah. No, and also it's a very, surprisingly enough, it's a very creative space. There's a lot of creative outlets and a lot of artistic people out here. And that is a very interesting thing to me personally. So. What was
kind of, because I know you've shared this with us before, and however much you want to get into it, what was your story with coming to Johnstown?
So basically, I was in San Francisco at the time,
okay. And
COVID was high and nigh, and my girlfriend's family gave me a call one day, and they were like, "Hey, we see you as our own kid, we see you as a son. We're planning on leaving California. Do you want to come with us?" And I was like, you know what? I'm 19. I might as well see the world, right? And the world being the USA.
Yeah.
Good old America. And I said, yeah. And that's how I got here, Johnstown.
Nice. That's actually funny because me being from Johnstown, my thing has always been, am I going to move out to California? So it's funny that it just happens.
I recommend you visit, not stay there.
Okay, that's actually good advice. So kind of like this area as compared to there, I don't know how involved you were in maybe like the art scenes and the creative scenes around there, but how do you think it differs from what you were like in, or what it was like in San Francisco?
It's definitely a lot more quiet.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot more like behind the scenes over here compared to San Francisco, where everything's full blast. Here you kind of have to look for yourself, which is, and we'll get into it, which is what the Steeples Project and Darcy is trying to change, and is trying to, get all those events out there so that people don't have to look. But, yeah, there's that.
Yeah, that is something that, I guess it's a little bit frustrating for, especially being like a native of Johnstown and really loving the area for, just its nature and its geography and everything, is also being a creative person, just the frustration of like how little effort has been done historically to nurture those scenes. And then within the last 10 years, it's kind of been a bit of a explosion with things going on. But even then, it's like still just trying to pick up the traction of getting people interested.
Yeah. Think the number one thing is just advertising.
Yeah.
And much more so the lack thereof. Mm-hmm. But I think that's changing slowly. But
so,
it's getting there.
What kind of stuff are you doing to be part of that wave?
So I started volunteering. So the funny story, I started volunteering and helping Darcy with the Steeples Project. And the way I started that was because I write analysis essays on art.
Okay.
And I saw the art gallery over there, and it was during the fall crawl, and Will was like, hey, I actually know this artist. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh shoot, can I go and interview with them?
Yeah.
And I did, and that's how I started helping volunteer, and I helped with the Ray Kendrick live variety show. I helped with the whatever was after that. I think it was the Clone Show.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep, helped with that. And then the Christmas show and the DJ one at the very end of the year.
Okay.
So Yeah, and also between that time, I've also been helping and volunteering, keeping that art gallery open, because at first it was only Laura, but now it's got a couple more people. We've just actually through a grant, they hired Bill.
Oh,
And so he's actually being paid to have that place open, which
great.
is actually super nice.
yeah.
So,
Yeah, I mean that is. I think that I was kind of wondering about that the past couple of weeks because I walk past there a lot for work. So that's really good to hear that they've been getting grants to stay open. Was that fall crawl that you went to? Was that back in 2023?
no,
Oh,
that was
okay.
last year.
Oh, that last year's fall crawl. Okay.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask because I always tell this story on the podcast, but the 2023 fall crawl was whenever I got the idea for this podcast. So it's cool to see that that was also what got you in the next year.
Okay.
Into the scene.
Nice.
Yeah, because I just was like, that was the year I got out of high school, and so I was like, me and my girlfriend went, and yeah, just like seeing everything around, I was like, yeah, I really want to see and be part of this scene. But
There seems to be a reoccurring pattern. Maybe there should be more fall crawls.
maybe we should just have fall all year round. So
Exactly.
we get all the artists.
Yeah.
So art analysis essays, what got you into that?
So growing up, my mom would constantly. I mixed feelings with my mom, but anyway, she growing up would make me go to like museums or make me watch movies, and then she would ask me like what I felt, and then I would say, "Oh, I felt this way," and then she would ask why,
Okay.
and then it just kept evolving into adulthood until I left, and then I kind of like stopped for a couple years during San Francisco. And then recently, last year, I was like, you know what? I have this ability to do this. I might as well like make an article or, make a paper and post it on Medium. And that's what I did. And that's how I got that starting piece or the starting conversation piece of like, hey, have you read this? You should read it. I made that.
Yeah. So you publish on Medium then?
Yeah.
Cool. Have you done anything with like Substack or anything like that?
No, I've been told a lot about it, and I've been
I've
thinking about it.
I mean, from my own experience, I post maybe like twice a month or so, and I love the platform. I mean, it's just one of those nice things where like you don't have any sort of like anyone telling you like this is what you have to post. You just do it.
Yeah, you just do it.
It's just social media for people who want to actually write like informative things.
Yes.
But so do you see like maybe the art analysis or just writing in general as like your passion, like your main passion that you're chasing?
No, actually, this is probably due to my ADHD, but like I jump from, I guess I hobby jump.
I'm exactly the same way. I understand.
So like I still have ideas for it. Like I haven't completely forgotten about it, but I haven't come back to it in a hot minute either.
Okay.
So, but it's something I love doing. I love writing, and everyone should write, even if it's not informative. So.
Yeah. I mean, it is like the thing that we do that nothing else does, and it's like our form of catharsis. I feel
Exactly.
like. That's what I always tell people of why I do it. So your poetry too was something that I didn't know that you were into until we were at what was it, the Poeming Through the Dark?
Yeah, Poeming Through the Dark.
Yeah. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
So I don't, well, obviously, Poeming Through the Dark is only bi-monthly here in Johnstown.
Yeah.
And it, obviously, there's reasons why it's bi-monthly. And, of course, we all wish that it was more than that. Or, sorry, shorter than that. And, growing up, I did write poetry. However, my good old father came back into my life freshman year and literally burned all my poetry.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Wow.
And in his words, that's what his family did to him with his art. And so it was like this, like a cycle that needed to be completed, I guess. I mean, that's my take on why he did it. Not that he should have. And so I literally stopped writing poetry. And then I went with Will to the first Poeming in the Dark for me. And it was like, you know what? this isn't so bad.
Yeah.
And then I just kept going and, gained the confidence again to be like, all right, I'll say my shit.
Yeah. What kind of, back to the art side of things, what kind of art inspires you? Like what do you love to look at, write about, that kind of thing?
So I actually love stories and storytelling. So that kind of art. So specifically nonfiction. And to go a little bit into that, like I've been writing a story for 8 years now, but I just something about narrating a story or telling a story, because that's how we evolved as a civilization, is through storytelling. Like the probably Unga Bunga was like, hey, don't eat that berry because of this. And technically that's a story. That because you can go and test it, and and also, who doesn't love a good story? Technically, not what TV shows and movies are a story; they're just acted out. So,
That's a good point. I didn't really put it into like that context before. Of like stories are sort of the reason, the end of the equation of all the whys that we have. And it's like from the very first, from that caveman who wanted to eat the berry, and the guy was like, no, don't do it, and then he tells him this elaborate story, and it, I guess, convinced somebody not to. But yeah, it is that interesting kind of thing that we do that helps us survive longer than we might have otherwise. So in the art scene around Johnstown, just the creative sphere, especially with Columba, where do you see those kinds of things going? With it being a new year, I guess it's a great time in the new year, in the future.
Obviously, I believe it's going to go in a positive direction. But I'm hoping that it actually gains a lot more traction, and especially with Darcy finally kind of breaking the ice with the Columba Theater Project and showing like, hey, we can do this.
And it's actually been successful.
And on top of the fact that there's been no budget. So, and there's been talks of getting a budget on top of that, but even so, we can do this. So, obviously, I have high hopes for it. It sucks that I'm going to be going soon because I applied for Job Corps. And so I'm going to be sent to Pittsburgh for like a year and then basically live my life from there. But, so I hope for the best, and I think great things will come out of it. I'm even sure that there's going to be collaborations between like high-end artists. Not that there hasn't been collaborations with them, like the Clone Event, and also Tyler Ray Kendrick. So just more big names like that.
So are you going to be staying in Pittsburgh for just that year, or you said you were going to stay there for good, probably?
It counts. I'm young. We're young. So life has a funny way of doing things. So, I was 19, moved out here, and been here for 5 years. So, but I think I'm going to be in Pittsburgh, but they might send me elsewhere, or, because I'm wanting to go into, like, environmental energies, they don't have a campus close to Johnstown, so they might have to send me, like, further east or north, or they might have to take me out of the state completely. So,
what made you decide on environmental?
That's a part of the future, in my personal opinion. Because harnessing power from nature, don't get me wrong, batteries and all that is great, but that costs resources from the earth itself. While in nature, like the windmill or water mills and all of that, that's just technically nature-given stuff. You don't have to produce a battery to make that into electricity. So, And not only that, but it's something I've kind of been interested before. When I was in high school, I was in a program that was like for engineering.
Okay.
So to gear you so that when you get into college and take engineering courses, you know what you're doing.
Okay. Yeah.
And
Sort of like a STEM.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think it was called GE.
Okay.
But anyway, yeah. So and it's just always interested in me how technically you can make energy from just the simple nature that is the outside world.
Yeah. Actually, that is really interesting because I know that like from the dawn of philosophical thought and engineering, people have always been trying to figure out like the quote unquote perpetual motion machine, and they're like, nah, it's impossible.
Yeah, it's impossible. Physics doesn't allow it.
And it's like, meanwhile, they're sitting like beside a river that's been flowing for thousands of years and will continue flowing for thousands more. And it's like, oh, how could we possibly create our own perpetual motion? And it's like, no, we're kind of just sitting in one. Maybe just harness what you already have.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what to that subject continued, what kind of things do you see happening in the field that like maybe continue to revitalize your interest in it?
I think I remember one time, I can't remember, but it was during high school, I think the middle of high school, that a institute in California was actually looking into generating energy from the crash of waves.
Okay.
Or like basically the machine would bob with the waves, and every time it would bob, it would generate energy.
Yeah.
And I think that's freaking awesome.
Yeah.
And not only that, but I'm sure there's going to be just more ways. This doesn't create energy, but just the fact that like, because towards the east in the world, there's a lot of deserts and a lot of places that don't rain often. People and scientists have actually created like crystals,
Okay.
so that these crystals, when dumped in the air, actually form clouds so that it can rain.
Yeah.
But just stuff like that, and I think it's fun, and hopefully, to be a part of that, to say like I can help a civilization.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys are the ones who are remembered the most fondly in history, even if not brought up as much. You're the ones who keep us going.
Exactly.
Yeah. That is really cool. And actually, I guess to ground this episode for future listeners in a solid time frame or time zone, something that is happening in this area specifically that you've probably heard of, because a lot of people kind of in our circle have been talking about it a lot, with the data center that's getting built over in Homer City.
Oh,
I know.
I've heard about it. I don't know a lot about it, but tell everyone.
I don't know a ton about it either, but basically from what I understand, and I think it would be interesting, even though neither of us really know too much about it, just to like talk about it against like the more holistic way of looking at our relationship with nature. But basically, from what I understand, what's going on is that to continue to feed this weird AI egregore that has been going on, for the past 5-ish years, the higher ups in the government, the powers to be, decided that Homer City, which is the site of a pretty like well-known power plant already, but I think it was like coal-based, will be transitioning to a water-fueled AI data center to hopefully generate to hopefully generate the data that is needed for these AI conglomerates. And it's all sort of like this very weird, from what I understand, all this very weird legal print of like they kind of are just assuming that this is all going to pay off, because most of what's going on in the AI bubble is like a lot of like,
well, everything's in theory.
Yeah, it's all just
because
like,
it hasn't been done yet.
It's all just like, this is what we think the future is going to be like, and therefore this is what we need to do to prepare for it. So we're just going to build all these little AI,
basically tryouts.
Yeah, like all throughout the country, and then if it works out, then we have all the infrastructure already. But meanwhile, they're wrecking a lot of ecosystems.
Oh no, yeah. I think I remember a YouTube video where basically, I think I could be wrong on the state, but I believe in Kansas, this poor couple, because Elon Musk had put an AI data center, Like, this poor couple has to deal with the noise of all of it, and then not only that, but the AI data center is so bright that, like, at night you could still see everything.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I mean, talking about, from your side of things, the ways of how to incorporate into nature, this is like the complete antithesis, where it's like, how do we completely separate ourselves from the natural world?
Which also sucks because, we've kind of already screwed up nature as is. I mean, of course, don't get me wrong, we need roads, cities, and buildings for ourselves. Sure, but I mean, we've taken so much forest and just natural grounds and just tore them up.
Without trying to even replenish them at all was kind of the worst part. Because, I mean, it could be done in at least some kind of way where it's like replanting as they go. But it's just like no interest in that. It actually kind of makes me think of, we were talking about the Catan sticker earlier, it always makes me think of like we're just living in this game where people are only looking at everything as big resource tiles, and there's like... It's like just the completely compressed, like 500 by 500 scale of countryside, and it's like, how can we use this just for all of the resources that we need? Yeah. Well, on a brighter note, because I really don't like to linger on these things as much as possible, because I think that focusing on the better things in life is what's more important.
Absolutely.
Yeah. With the theater, just because I really think that it's awesome what Darcy's been doing there, and you're saying that you're only going to be there temporarily until you go out to Pittsburgh, but maybe like, what are some plans that, however much you're involved with them, what are some plans that you guys have for like the coming year?
I know there's going to be a nun run.
A nun run?
So apparently, because when the second flood happened, that rectory and church stood. And apparently, a lot of the priests went out, ran, and carried the nuns back into the rectory and church.
Okay.
Or at least that's what I remember being told.
Yeah.
So there's an idea for that, of basically having a nun run, where I guess we're going to get priests, fathers, or some other thing, and basically have them run down, grab a nun or something equivalent of a nun, and then run back, which is, that in and of itself is absurdly glorious.
Yeah, you heard it here first, folks.
I know another thing that they're really wanting to do is do like a theater or a play. But I know they're still working a lot of the kinks out, so that might be coming. Okay. But to be discerned.
Kind of like a club type of thing, or like more like a performance, like
performance.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I know that was something that I had talked to David Hurst, who's the owner of it, about. So I wasn't sure like if he was still interested in doing that kind of thing. But yeah, that's really cool. I mean, it's an awesome space, and the more that can be done there, the better.
Yeah, just let alone not only the artistic side, but just having those doors open is like, I believe it's helping out the community a whole lot.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's like the old movie, or the Kevin Costner movie Field of Dreams, where he's like, if you build it, they will come. It's like basically if you have it here, even if it's not constantly in use, it's here for people to use. And I think that that's what's really important, because I think this area in general sort of feels very disconnected, and so like the connection that people have been making here in the past couple of years has been really important. What are some things that, like, throughout your life, both artistically and just that you have been interested in, with especially the environmental, because I didn't know anything about that. But what are some things that have kind of stuck with you? And I ask this sort of question in different forms to different people, but that inspire you to see the world in a way that keeps you creative, keeps you motivated?
So I broke up with my girlfriend, and that was in like 2021. Mm-hmm. So like I came here 2020, broke up with my girlfriend 2021, and I had like a 3-year reflection on myself. And I eventually came to the conclusion that it, not like in a dark way, I'll explain it, but like nothing matters. So basically, that sun, that star that we call a sun, is going to eventually blow up. And when it does, most likely, well, not most likely, but assumingly, Earth, no one has, like, NASA hasn't gone beyond and started, colonizing planets, which in turn means that all this history, all this knowledge, all these things, all these acts mean nothing because it's all going to just be disintegrated. So in that same vein, because everything will equal to nothing, I want to live a way where I'm happy, even if it means nothing in the end.
That's really beautiful. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, that's something that I have a lot of trouble, I think, coming to terms with a lot of the time. And that's sort of, I think, what a lot of philosophies get at when they're talking about enlightenment, is it's like enlightenment is living in the present for the sake of the present.
Yeah.
And it's just something that, it is hard because, like, you look at life and you look at, we were talking about these data centers, and it's like, what are we going to do with the future? What is the future going to do for us and, give to us? And, in a way, it doesn't really even matter, because as long as we're all living right now the best that we can, it'll probably have echoes into, the future a little bit.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's one of the many philosophies, and that's my biggest one, is that just living, not cathartically, but living happily.
Yeah.
And just doing what I can when I can. And don't get me wrong, yeah, you could take it and be like, well, if everything means nothing, then why even do anything? Well, the simple fact is that, well, sadly, we still live.
Yeah.
So the sun is a selfish bastard. Not only does it come tomorrow, it will eventually explode. How selfish. So in between that time, you might as well make the best of it.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Jobbins, for coming on. This was a great conversation, and I love have you back again.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's so nice, and hopefully we can do this a couple times more, maybe in the future.
Well, we do. I usually do interviews too, so.
Okay.